Super Smash Bros. Has always had clones from the very first game. But as these characters copy a lot from other fighters, they cause quite a bit of controversy within the Smash Bros. Community. Some people hate them and others are really quite fond of them. Now I'm personally in the camp that clones are fine in the game. They're a staple for every fighting game under the sun. They don't really take from any character's design time, and they still flesh out the roster with new faces, and so I'm 100% on board with that. But that doesn't mean that there isn't any room for improvement. And so in this video, I want to talk about how the design of a clone should kind of be updated for the next Smash Bros. Game. Before we dive into what I think Smash for Switch could improve, I want to establish what a clone is and how clones are developed for the Smash games, because I see a lot of confusion about this and I want to be sure we're all on the same page when it comes to clones. A clone is a character that shares a similar moveset, physics, and animations to another character, but has a different appearance. The moveset, while very similar, is usually minorly tweaked, so the two characters have some distinctions, but they're still mostly the same characters. The prime example of a clone character is Pit and Dark Pit. They have the same moveset, but with very subtle changes, such as the differences in their neutral specials, side specials, and final smash. But aside from those differences, they're so similar that tier lists have even placed them at the exact same spot. This deviates from the norm because typically a character is either slightly better than its clone, or vice versa, the clone is better than the original, but rarely are they at the exact same spot. Then there are semi-clone characters who are rather similar but also have more differences than a standard clone might have. For most of the cast, semi-clones were originally clone characters that have since been decloned, or given more distinct movesets to separate the characters. A good example of this development evolution is Fox and Falco in both Melee and Brawl. In Melee, all of Fox and Falco's moves are the same. They have the same animations, they're the same concepts, they just function a little bit differently. For example, both characters have lasers. But while Fox's are quick and merely add percent, Falco's are slow and have a bit of hit stun attached to them. While Fox has a weak down air and a strong up smash, Falco has a strong down air and a weak up smash. In Brawl, they were designed to be quite different from each other. Falco kicks his reflector away from him and then back, for example, while Fox's surrounds his whole body and can be held indefinitely. They have different aerials and basic attacks as well, and Smash 4 widened the gap between the two even further than this. But these characters that are similar but also quite different are what we call a semi-clone, a character that has roots as a clone, but was sufficiently changed enough to be considered only kind of a clone character. Now Smash 4 has the most clones, or semi-clones, of any Smash game to date. There are 3 full-fledged clones and 6 semi-clones, with 2 of these semi-clones being DLC fighters. The biggest issue that most people seem to have though is with the 3 clones: Dr. Mario, Lucina, and Dark Pit. Here's where I want to focus on another issue. I see all over the internet, on YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, that people seem to think that clone characters take away from the time that could be spent on more unique characters. Like if Dark Pit wasn't in the game, instead we'd have Ridley or King K. Rool. And this is just not correct. All 3 of the clone characters that are in Smash 4 started as simple alternate costumes that were already going to be in the game, but they each had different aspects added that made them additional characters. Dr. Mario was separated because Sakurai was concerned fans would be disappointed that Dr. Mario was not his own character based on his appearance in Melee. He was originally going to be a Mario skin, kind of like how Dr. Mario works in Project M, but because the moveset was going to stay the same as the one from Melee, he was made a separate character. It was decided that Lucina wasn't going to have the tipper mechanic that Marth has, and there was also some kind of discrepancy with her height, that she was a little shorter or something, but primarily the lack of a tipper is why Lucina was separated. And Dark Pit received a totally different final smash, as Sakurai thought it was weird for him to be using the 3 sacred treasures, which was Pit's final smash. So because of this, Dark Pit was made a separate slot on the character select screen and given his own final smash. All of these changes were enough for the development team to warrant a totally separate slot on the character select screen. Had these 3 characters not been made into separate slots, the character select screen would look just like this. We wouldn't have 3 new, unique characters in place of the clones, we would just have 3 less slots on the character select screen. But the issue I think most people have with this is that the clone characters in Smash 4 are really too similar to their originals. The most different clone is Dr. Mario, who has a totally different down special. But Lucina is like 90% the same, only lacking the tipper, and Dark Pit is, for all intents and purposes, literally just Pit. So I think this is why people get upset about clone characters, and so I think that the definition of a clone character needs to be redefined for Smash for Switch. The semi-clone concept works wonders and honestly should just become the new standard for what a clone is. Look at Mario and Luigi. Luigi is heavily based on Mario to begin with, but eventually enough changes are made that the two are considered quite separate characters, even though one is a semi-clone of the other. The same applies to Marth and Roy. Roy was given a largely new moveset in Smash 4, or at least has a much more unique take on his old moveset. That's what I'd love to see for Dark Pit, Lucina, and even Dr. Mario. There's plenty to pull from for these characters to have even half unique movesets. Dark Pit can still have the same up B and neutral B, that's fine, but give him something that Pit just doesn't have. There's an awesome modded Lucina moveset out there that separates her as her own character from Marth. With Mario Odyssey out, I think Mario's going to have a huge overhaul in his moveset, so actually keeping Dr. Mario the same is nice as it gives a representation of what his original moveset used to be, while Mario's throwing Cappy and charging up his Flood. Heck, they even have custom moves in the game. They could have just taken 4 of the custom moves and made them the default moveset for a clone character. Then the original moveset can just be an unlockable custom move, and that way the clones really aren't that similar. There's a ton that can be done while still keeping the clone ideology that I really think is the best way to go about it. If you're going to make a clone character, at the very least make it a semi-clone. Just copy and paste one character and then just start making changes. That might mean we get less clone characters in the end, but it's basically like half of a brand new original character. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I would take 2 semi-clone characters that work differently from their original over 4 clone characters with only 1 or 2 minor tweaks. But that's just my opinion. I feel like a lot of people agree with me on this, that the clones need some kind of a rework, and I think that making them semi-clones, at least to start, really fleshes out what a clone character could be. People are definitely dissatisfied with how the clones were implemented in Smash 4, and I think that they can do a much better job in Smash for Switch. Even if we don't get any new clone characters in Smash for Switch, it would be great to see Dr. Mario, Dark Pit, and Lucina get a rework to the point where it doesn't feel like I should just play the original character, and give me some kind of a benefit to playing the clone character. But what do you guys think? Do you like the clones as they are, or do you think a semi-clone would be a better standard? Reminder that I'm only talking about moveset here, not necessarily the exact characters that are picked. As always, I gave my thoughts on the subject, and now I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you all so much for the support. We just hit 70,000 subscribers, and we're not slowing down. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button, and if you're not already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace, guys, and I hope you have an awesome day.